Welcome to our webinar, First Year Rater Experience. We are excited to have you all joining us here today. My name is Christine Self with Parent and Family Relations, and joining me today are Nicole Terrell, Diana Wilkinson, and Jess Sanchez from Student Engagement. This webinar is part of our Red Rater Family webinar series, where we share important information on topics of interest to parents, families, and all of the supporters of our students. We hope this webinar will help you understand some of the key aspects of your new Red Rater support network at Texas Tech, a support network that will help them be successful their first year and beyond. We plan to keep the webinar to about 30 minutes or so. Please feel free to use the Zoom Q&A feature to ask questions throughout the presentation. We are recording this session and posting it to our website so that you will be able to review it again later or share it with your others, including your students. I'll also email the recording link to the email that you used when you registered for the webinar. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jess.
Thank you so much, Christine. Hi, parents, families, supporters of Red Raiders. Thank you all so much for being here and allowing us to take the time to discuss an overview of your students' first semester here at Texas Tech. There is a lot of information that we're going to be going over today, and I want to go ahead and preface this with, you don't have to remember everything, but what we hope to accomplish is that we can give you some tips along the way from August to December of some tips for your students that they can feel supported by you throughout the first semester. Diana is going to start us off with August, but along the way, we'll be letting you know about resources and support that you can offer. So thank you.
Hello. So you will see this timeline throughout our presentation, and as we move along the semester, you'll see some more information add up to this timeline. We're going to cover some things that your students are going to be experiencing and things to look out for, things that you can help them with. So in August, let's start us out in the month of August. They are figuring it all out. This is when we are looking at that move-in. They're finding their pathway around campus, trying to navigate around campus and starting classes, and then, of course, navigating a new city. So first things first, we're going to talk about Rater Ready. That is my specialty. This is an 8-week, 1-credit course. This course is meant to assist your student in successfully managing that transition from high school to Texas Tech. We really want your student to feel comfortable here at Tech. And we have some ways to do that. We want them to be academically successful here. So we are going to talk about some of those success strategies, such as note-taking, test-taking, study skills. We also go over time management very heavily. That is a skill that our students, of course, need. And most of them know they need that. So we will go over time management, help them figure out what this new world looks like. We're going to also explore resources on campus. We realize that our students have been exposed to those resources during RRO, but the RRO, Red Rater Orientation, is very busy. So it's easy to forget some of those resources. We want our students to know those resources and how they can help them throughout their first semester and beyond. We're going to practice effective communication skills. So we're going to teach our students how to write those emails to instructors, how to do those office visits, and then also just that new experience of having a roommate. We want them to be able to communicate with new people. We're going to help them manage stress and promote well-being. Again, we know this is a stressful time for your student. We do want to help them manage that. And our big goal is that we want to build those relationships. Again, we want your student to feel comfortable here at Texas Tech. So we want to build those relationships, not only between Red Raiders. We cap our class at 20. We keep it very small so that our students are able to form some of those relationships and make some of those friends. But we also want them to form a relationship with the instructor as well, so they feel like they have someone on campus that they can go to with any questions. So that is something that they can sign up for. This is, again, a course. So they could sign up for that during RRO. That would be in the summer. And then classes would start that very first week of class. It is an 8-week class, so we would end the middle of October. So our next thing to look at is move in to that residence hall. So some of the things we want to think about is making sure that we're signing up for that move-in time slot, so you know when you're moving in, your student is moving in, reviewing the room and the roommate situation, and those assignments, learning more about that room that they're moving into so that you know what kind of furniture to bring with you, and looking at that list of things that are appropriate to bring, what not to bring, what to bring, fun times shopping. You also want to look at getting a parking permit in your dorm residence area so that your student can park there if they're bringing their car. Another thing we want to look at during August is our Raider Welcome. So this happens before classes start and then into a little bit past our class start date. So this is 2 weeks of fun and free events. We have about 180, I believe, or 150 plus events that are hosted by some of our campus organizations and resources. So this is a great way to learn more about those organizations and resources, get some free things, meet some friends as well, and just get out that very first, before classes start. And there's not a whole lot for our students to do before those classes start. So this is a good thing to get them a little more exposed to campus. And then we have our Hub City Fest, which happens August 25th. That's right around the time that classes starts, the day after that classes start. This is a way for our students to learn about Lubbock. So this is an opportunity for our students to see what Lubbock has to offer. We have about 83 local Lubbock businesses that come in to tell our students what they offer and also give them some free things. A great way to meet people, again, make those connections and just feel a little bit more comfortable with our city. We realize that a lot of our students, they're new to Texas Tech, so they were probably new to Lubbock. We want them to feel comfortable here. And then we have our Raider Roundup. That is happening Sunday, August 27th. So that is the Sunday right before that full week of classes. This is about 100 and oops, I just missed what I was saying there. Sorry. This event happens the Sunday before that first full week of classes. It's a great opportunity to have fun with your friends before that semester starts. Hear some live music, play some games, get some free things, enjoy some Whataburger and some Tiff's treats. I will turn it over to Nicole now for September.
All right, continuing in our timeline here, September is again a busy month with lots of adjusting, learning happening along the way. So some things that your students will be going through in that is that they're experiencing some new traditions on campus. They're having their first times like really experiencing that. Maybe we have some like born and bred Red Raiders who know about our traditions, but for a lot of our new students, they're just starting to learn about those things in our campus. They're also going to be adjusting to a newfound freedom. They've been living at home and now they're off on their own. They're learning to do their own laundry, to wake themselves up, all of the things. So they're kind of figuring that out. They've also got their first assignments and tests returned. So at this time, they might be feeling like, oh no, like I think I need to be using tutoring, or having some things, realizations like that they hadn't quite thought they would have. There's also a lot of like, do I fit in here, and finding their people. We think it's really important for students to find their community. And so that's a lot of that is happening during the month of September as well. And then during this time, they've been away from home for, a month, 2 months, and they're maybe starting to have some feelings of homesickness. So remember that and know, setting up time to FaceTime or Zoom call or things like that would be really helpful to your student at this time. So some different things to think about and resources and things to plug for your students. One, Labor Day happens really soon after classes start. So classes start on the 24th of August, and then Labor Day is September 4th. So they've not been here for long. I would encourage your students to stay in Lubbock for Labor Day. I know y'all might miss them, want to see them, but this is a really great time for them to get to explore Lubbock and, make friends in a way that's outside of the stresses of class and things like that. We have a lot to do here in Lubbock. One of my favorite things is going to Buffalo Springs Lake. It's not the greatest lake ever, but it is a cool lake. I like to go and sit on the dock and tan and get in the water. So encourage them, if they like to do that kind of stuff, go to Buffalo Springs. It's about 20 minutes from campus. There's also Paladero Canyon that's lots of fun. That's about a 30 to 45 minute drive from campus. They can do a hiking trip with some friends. Speaking of that, the Outdoor Pursuit Center on campus, they can rent equipment from them. They can rent out bikes. They've got a bike shop to fix up their bike. But if they wanted to go bike around Paladero Canyon, they could do that. If they wanted to get some hiking gear, they can go and do that there. The OPC later on in the semester will also offer some like different trips. And so they can go with a group of people on, a trip to New Mexico or, somewhere. They've got some different things that they traditionally do. And then lastly, I just want to plug for golf. Golf, we have a lot of golf things here in Lubbock. I wasn't a golfer before, but I like to go swing a club every now and then. So for golf, and then we also have the range. So they can do some of those fun things Labor Day weekend. And then I really encourage your students to apply to Tech Leadership Institute. This is an 8-week program, and each week of the program, we touch on different leadership topics, and they're led through those topics, discussions and activities around them by peer mentors who are current students on campus and leaders that have been through this program. They're going to gain a lot of soft skills through being in Tech Leadership Institute. That they can apply, while in school, when, applying for internships, things like that. Students really, it's a lot of fun, and it's another way like Raider Ready where they can have a peer mentor and have someone checking in on them during that first semester to push resources and help them make those friends and create community. We also have the Texas Texpo. This is on Thursday, September 21st from 11 to 3. It's a one-stop shop where students can learn about their resources. Diana mentioned, they learn about a lot of stuff at Red Raider orientation, but a refresher of that when it feels more relevant to like, oh, I see how I could use this thing now that I'm here. Encourage them to go to the Texpo and explore that. We've got free t-shirts to motivate, but they get lots of free stuff while they're there as well. And then University Life Coaching will help them if they're looking to set some goals and find some attainable ways to reach those goals. They are a great resource to kind of help you in that process or help your student in that process. So please be sure to share that as a resource with them as well.
Okay, transitioning into October, this is really where I feel like your students get to apply their knowledge of what they've learned up to this point. So not only with their midterms exams coming up, they're applying their knowledge that they've learned from August to at this point to be graded on for their midterms and applying what they've learned. But then also they're going to go ahead and start preparing for registration for the summer and for the next spring and summer. So they're kind of applying that knowledge that they've done at Red Raider orientation and also applying for scholarships and financial aid. So it's kind of like, okay, we are starting to do this on our own and get familiar with these processes. So things that the students can do to prepare for this with midterms exams would be utilizing their academic resources. The Learning Center is free tutoring offered for students and they can come in and learn from a peer and spend some time tutoring and taking that time to get familiar with their material, go over their reviews, if they have them, to dive into that material and get and prepare for midterms. Then they can also utilize supplemental instruction, also noted as SI sessions, where again, they're diving into their classroom material. One cool thing about SI is that you can go in person and learn in a classroom, or you can utilize their online services. They record their sessions and post them so that students can go and view the session, press pause, work out the problem, and be able to practice that on their own. The University Writing Center, if your student has this huge paper that either they're needing to develop a topic or get ready to proofread, the University Writing Center can help them at any point of the process. Another cool thing talking about that, different ways to access them, they can go in person and they can schedule an appointment, go in person and learn with a tutor or a writing instructor, or they can upload their paper online, and within a few days they'll have all the critiques that they need sent back to them via email. So those are super great resources that students can utilize during that midterm season. Another thing, if your student at the point of October, they're getting ready to register for those classes, so thinking about that, if they're uncertain about their major, thinking about making a change, or maybe interested in adding a minor, or maybe even looking at internship opportunities, the Majors and Minors Fair is another one-stop shop, if you will, of a place where they can meet with professors, advisors, some upperclassmen, all in one place to discuss maybe some different options. You know, maybe even if your student isn't thinking about changing their major, but maybe wants to add a minor from another college, this is a great place to be able to just explore those options, low risk. You don't have to make any changes right off the bat, but it's pretty sweet. And we offer those free t-shirts and usually like a sweet snack, big sweet snack that we have at that event. So encourage your students to attend. We'll be sending out, I'm sure that this event information will be included in the parent and family newsletters and things like that. Another thing that's important for students' belongingness here on campus is getting connected with the campus. And so typically dates haven't been released yet for Texas Tech Homecoming, but traditionally we've seen it be in October. And this is a week of just traditional events that students can get involved in. They can participate with their student organization in painting a board that will be posted up on campus. They can go to the football game. They can attend the parade. You could even join them maybe for some of these activities, and we encourage you to do so. So encourage your student to just connect with the campus in this really cool way. There's really no other feeling like going to a football game and watching the masked rider run across the field. And anyway, I'm kind of getting all into it, getting all lovey-dovey about the masked rider and things like that. But it's just really awesome. It's a really awesome part of the experience, even if you just go one time. Next, we have the financial aid and scholarships. The FAFSA application opens up October 1st, as well as continuing student scholarship application. So one thing for you to note, parents and supporters, is that they don't have to start applying October 1st. They could start applying once they get home for November and December. One thing I like to think of is we eat a lot of pie during the holidays. So maybe you could say, okay, we need to eat pie and apply for our scholarships and financial aid. So I wish I could hear you all laughing, erupt in laughter at your homes, but I'll deal with it up here. But so that's just a simple little rhyme that maybe you can remember. When we're eating pie, we need to apply for our financial aid and scholarships and set ourselves up for that security. Here we go, into the next semester. Okay, that's all I've got for October.
All right, so we're moving into November. This is when we're wrapping up that semester. So we're going to look at, those midterm grades are they're going to be posted. That could mean, maybe your students didn't do as good as they had hoped. Hopefully you are able to touch base with them regarding those grades, and then reminding them of these resources that, Jess spoke about. And then getting them back on track and reminding them of those goals, helping them stay positive. This is the time that our first year students are registering for classes, so we want to set that up, make sure that they're ready for that. We have the Thanksgiving holiday approaching, and there is that chance of your student getting sick. We're moving into that cold and flu season. So let's look at some of those resources. So we have the Raider Success Hub. This is where your student will be making an appointment with their academic advisor so that they can register for classes for the spring and the summer. They'll also need to get onto this Raider Success Hub in order to check out any holds. So this is a great time to remind your student to get onto Raider Success Hub and look at these things so that they are ready when that time slot opens for them to register. They can get on there and get the classes that they want. This is also, like we said, that time that we're thinking about the holidays. We're starting to plan going home. This point, we're looking at those Thanksgiving and Christmas, those holidays. We're planning those student trips home. Flights can be expensive. So, Parent and Family offers these affordable ways to get your student home. This shuttle is offered to cities such as Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, and El Paso. So start making those plans before November, hopefully. Think about how your student is going to get home. And then we have the student health services. So this is, a great time to think about, we don't want to think about your student getting sick, but what is your student going to do if they get sick? I know you want to be there as much as you can to help them. We have student health on campus, which offers all of the services that they would need. They can see a doctor. That doctor can prescribe medicine. We also, if you would like your student to see someone outside of campus, if you want them to set up with a physician in Lubbock, this would be, a good time probably before this. Start thinking about setting them up with a doctor in case they do get sick, so we can prepare for that. Also, kind of a pro tip, having a little kit made for your students with some of the over-the-counter medicine that your student is used to taking. So they have that with them in their dorm room. And then, keep in mind that allergies may be a thing. They may not be a thing at home, but we are in a different, your student is in a different city, so allergies may become an issue. So also think about that.
Okay, jumping into November, kind of wrapping up that semester, putting to use all the knowledge that they've gained, and getting ready to take a little bit of a break. So they'll have final exams in December. This is definitely a stressful time for students. Remembering everything you've learned all semester long, and now you're going to get tested on it, or knowing that your projects and things like that are a big percentage of the grade that you're going to make in that class. So check in with your students during this time to make sure that they are well. They're also preparing to go home for winter break. So they're checking in with their residence hall to find out what can stay, what needs to go, or what they're going to need with them when they're gone. So just any preparation for that. And then there is that sadness about leaving their new relationships. At the beginning of the semester, they were really worried, and having trouble maybe making those relationships. But at this point, a lot of students have built some good relationships, and leaving, for a couple months is sad. So know that there's a little bit of that. They've also spent a lot of time adjusting and getting used to living here on their own at Texas Tech. And they're going to go back home and live with you all, or whatever that looks like for them. It's going to be change. They may also have some finances on the mind with the holiday expenses. It may be a good time to start working with some of our resources on campus, to find a job or things like that. And then their final grades being posted at the end, after they're done with their final exams and things as well. And so thinking about, were there any classes that you might need to retake, or, some thoughts about going forward, what next semester looks like for them. So those resources to help them out with final exams, Jess mentioned a lot of good academic resources earlier, but some other ones, the university library is a great resource. They have, books you can rent out, or databases you can use. You can print in the library if you need to print anything, if your student needs to print anything. They also have a space to study or get together with groups, things like that in the library. There's also the Student Counseling Center. I mentioned lots of stress during this time. So checking in with the Student Counseling Center, and they have some online resources like My SSP and Togetherall. They can meet with a counselor online, and then TAL has some self-guided different things to help them manage their stress as well. And then they'll be planning for move out. So talking with their CA about what those procedures look like, and figuring out, what will living arrangements look like for the spring semester, if there's any changes to what that currently looks like. And then for those financial resources, finding a job, the University Career Center is a great resource in that they can help them with finding an internship or an on-campus job for when they return, help in any of those ways. Red to Black is also a good resource. They'll help talk with them about creating a budget and a spending plan. They say help you manage your finances before they manage you. I know that is probably something that is new to a lot of students, is that financial freedom of living on their own and having to manage their money.
One last thing that we want to add is that if any point of the semester that your student is, maybe just struggling with navigating the transition that is starting their first semester at Texas Tech, just let them know that they're not alone and that they have support. One thing that we've added to this extra layer of support for your students is a student success specialist who can speak with them about anything, who's just really a listening ear, who can talk with them about time management, financial struggles, mental health and stress management, adjusting to life at TTU. Your student, as you can see that through this timeline, they've got a lot going on. It's a lot of new, a lot of change, and this student success specialist that's embedded into every college. So each of your students has access to at least one person that has the time to have a 1 hour appointment with your students to just hear them out and help them move to, maybe listen to whatever those roadblocks are that are holding them back, that they can help navigate and get a plan together. One thing I want to say about this position too is it's not, they're not their academic advisors, so they will not help your student with degree planning. Really, they're just helping them listening to maybe some issues they're having or what they're going through, gathering a game plan, and then referring them out to the experts and getting them connected with the people they need to talk to. So this is just a person that we're talking about, maybe it takes a village to raise a child. This is a person that you need to add to your village. They're phenomenal people and care about your student's success and about your student personally. I'm going to hand it off to Diana to give one more plug about Raider Ready.
Make sure I'm unmuted. Yes, one more plug. So just a reminder that Raider Ready, it is a course that they can take. It starts at the beginning of the semester, ends in the middle. It's an 8-week course. It's a 1 credit. They will get a grade in it. It'll show up on their GPA. Just want to reiterate that this is a great way to get those weekly reminders about this timeline and about the resources that were discussed in this PowerPoint, in this presentation. So it is a class that just meets 1 day a week for 8 weeks. It's not meant to overwhelm their schedule. It's just a way that we can, again, make them feel comfortable, give them some, exposure to those resources, and also exposure to some of the things that are happening on campus, just to make them, again, feel comfortable here at Tech.
Well, I want to thank all of our presenters today from student engagement. These are really the folks that make Texas Tech a very supportive and special place for your students. There's still a couple of minutes to ask questions, so put those in that Q&A feature. We're working on getting those answered for you. I did want to mention that we do have some additional upcoming webinars. So we have one, if you didn't attend our What to Expect at Red Raider orientation webinar last week, there's a repeat session next week you can sign up for. We also have one on preparing financially for college. That's something that's on a lot of families' minds right now. That'll be June 7th. Some of you had some questions in the Q&A about FAFSA, those kind of things. This will be gone over in detail in that session. This one's not on your screen because we just confirmed it today. And so I'm seeing some questions in the Q&A about student health services and what fees are associated with those, as well as what's more about information on student counseling. So write this down. We have a webinar on June 21st. It's going to be preparing for health and well-being at Texas Tech. We'll get that added to, I believe it's actually on our website already. But that's coming up also. Campus safety, June 28th. And then later on in the summer, as we're getting ready for move-in, preparing for on-campus living with housing and hospitality. So please use the little survey QR code that you see on your screen. We'd love to know how we did today. Let us know what you think and keep those questions coming. I am going to stop the recording because we are just about at time. But we'll stay online behind the scenes and type answers to your questions. So thanks a bunch, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. We are so excited to see your students here at Texas Tech.